All right, start it.
Okay, I want to hear about this. You're the average Joe. Go for it. But wait, real quick, just as we do on all of our recordings, guys, AMAs are a chance for us to ask questions. They're not endorsements, and nothing you hear on this recording is financial advice. It's been a long time. DC is just taking a few minutes to get going, but I'm Achilles, and we're here to talk about Stacks token. Stacks, my man, take it away.
Yeah, so, as I mentioned, my name is the Average Joe Crypto. I'm the lead developer of the Stacks token on the BSC chain. And I'll be here today to, talk about our project and answer any questions you or your community have. Very happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here, my guy. All right, you said you're the lead developer. I mean, I think this is a good time. Give us a rundown about the project. Exactly what is the ethos and everything behind Stacks token, and lead developer. How big is your team?
So we've got a team of, a total of 5 founders, and then we've onboarded a couple of other team members, and we also have, some major influencers out there in the crypto space that we've brought on for some long-term partnerships. So we've got a diverse community and a diverse team, each with different strengths, that we're employing to bring this thing to fruition. And, just kind of a quick rundown of what we are. So we launched on July 4th. The whole thought process was, in a lot of AMAs, you hear people talk about, developers that have, done things the wrong way, made unsafe projects for their community, done some shady things. So the ethos behind this and the origin story of us is, we're a team of people and a community of people that have, been around in crypto a long time and have been wronged in one way or another through various different projects. And many of us have been on projects that have gone to multi-million dollars. We've worked with developers in the past that were doing things the wrong way. And we wanted to, kind of change that, especially in the BSC space, which is so rife with scams and rug pulls and what have you. So from idea creation to contract creation to deployment, launch, and up through today, we've really tried to keep a focus on doing things the right way and missing those missteps that other, teams and projects take. And so we created the Stacks token. And the Stacks token, we don't call ourselves a meme coin. We consider ourselves a pure utility. We have utilities hard coded right into the contract. And we consider ourselves an up and coming, safe place where you can store your idle crypto money and you can earn rewards based on the transaction volume, dividends, in something other than the native token. So our tokenomics basically equate to this. We have a 3% buy and sell tax. There's no tax on transfers, but every transfer, buy and sell rather, on our token is taxed 3%. 1.5% of that tax goes directly to rewards for holders. And when I say rewards, I specifically highlight the word rewards, not reflections. We're not reflecting back our native token like our, major competitors, SafeMoon and Evermoon. And I just want to take a second to say that, SafeMoon and Evermoon, when I talk about our competition, I never bash the competition. There's no class in that, and it doesn't get us anywhere. But what I do is I draw stark differences between how they operate and how we operate. And you've seen these tokens go to, many, many millions and many, many billions in market cap. What we do is 1.5% of all transaction volume gets reflected or rewarded back to holders in the form of passive BNB. So that allows you to, and your community, to safely invest in our token and then take your profits in automatic BNB that's dropped into your wallet daily, automatically, multiple times per day. The nice thing about that is if you've looked at our competitors that I mentioned, you notice that there's a lot of sell pressure on their chart, and it kind of looks unsustainable over time. And that's because when you reward back people your native token, they're not getting any profits unless they sell your token. And so that creates that sell pressure that I mentioned. Here at Stacks, what we do is we reward back in the passive BNB. You can do whatever you'd like with that BNB. You can reinvest it in Stacks and compound your future rewards, which many and many in our community choose to do. Or you can spend it on an NFT. You could go spend it on another project. You could let it bank up if you're bullish on the price of BNB and you want to see that compound in price as well. or you can cash it out into whatever currency in your country you have and, go pay your bills with it. So that's the number one utility of our project, is a place where you can store your money and you can earn dividends way higher than any traditional, bank savings account or yield. There's also a 0.5% part of the tax that goes to liquidity injection. It automatically adds liquidity into the pool with every buy and sell, and it burns the liquidity pair tokens that are generated from that, so that liquidity is forever, burned or locked. That is for chart stabilization. That allows the chart to become more stable and the token to be backed more and more with every transfer, or transaction rather, by real world dollars. And that's for long-term security of the project and the individual holder as well. One thing that we're really, really proud of is the burn mechanism that our project uses. You see so many projects out there and they say, oh, we're deflationary and we burn tokens. Well, most every project that you see that's burning tokens, they burn tokens to the famous dead wallet. For those of you that don't know, that's that wallet that says 0x00000 all the way down and the word dead at the end. And the problem with that is an actual wallet that exists on chain. Somebody just designed a wallet address with all zeros and the word dead at the end. And, obviously nobody owns the keys to that wallet. So it's unretrievable. And every token project out there sends their burned tokens to that wallet. Well, again, as I mentioned, that wallet actually exists on chain. If you look at a project on, say, DexTools or whatever, and look at their largest holder and they're burning to that wallet, you see that wallet exists as the number one holder. Well, that's how you wind up with, when you're looking at the various DEX scanners and DexTools and CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko and what have you. That's where you see that warning that says self-reported circulating supply, where they're saying, look, the project came and they reported this as their circulating supply. We don't know if it's legit or not, but that's what they say. Well, that seems kind of gimmicky in our mind here at Stacks. And so what we designed here is we have what we call the true burn mechanism. This true burn mechanism actually burns to what's called the OXO wallet. This wallet is 0x00000 all the way down, repeating. That wallet technically does not exist on chain. So if you want to test this, you can go try to send a token to the dead wallet with your MetaMask, for example. That wallet will receive that token. That transaction will go through. Try to send any kind of token to the OXO wallet, which again is 0x000 all the way down. That transaction will fail and revert because it's not a valid address. It does not exist on chain. You can only get tokens to that by a smart contract function, such as what's in our contract. And so what that does is that actually destroys those tokens and removes them from the chain entirely. And what that does is, if you notice, if you check, say, DexTools on the Stacks token, every day the circulating supply is automatically updating and going downwards based on our burn on every transaction. And what that also does is, say, for example, you own 1% of the supply, which is, has been attainable, is still attainable, but is quickly diminishing in attainability. You will also notice your holder percentage go up. So if you started with, say, a 1% bag and you go check right now, you might hold a 1.2% bag. So our burn mechanism is a true burn. It's automatically updating all the numbers for circulating supply and holder supply in real time, and which is also increasing our holders' share of the rewards. When we generate rewards, if you own 1% of the supply, you get 1% of the rewards. Well, as the burn happens and you diamond hand your tokens and now all of a sudden you have 1.2% of the supply, well, then you own 1.2% of the passive BNB rewards that are divvied out. So we're very, very proud of that. I don't know many, if any, other projects that are using such a burn mechanism, but we consider it revolutionary here for Stacks. Lastly, in full disclosure, the 0.5% of the transaction, 3% tax, goes to the dev wallet. The dev wallet, obviously, I control as the developer. It's not only for my compensation, but also for other, things that we may need for the project, behind the scenes development wise. And we're very straightforward about that. Every developer in the space gets compensated. There's not anybody out there that's developing a crypto project that isn't looking for some sort of compensation or receiving some sort of compensation. The problem with developers in the space is that they generally drop themselves massive amounts of tokens, and they consider that their compensation for developing, leading, maintaining, and working on the project. Well, what that creates is that middle of the night dumping from the developer or the team that you see in so many projects, because the only way for them to take their profits in that scenario is for them to sell those tokens. That is not the case here. We do not need to dump any tokens on our community. The transaction tax helps pay for development costs and for, again, my compensation. And what that does is that has aligned myself and the development with the success of the individual investor. I let the community know at all times, I'm here to make my community and my project money. And if they don't make any money, I don't make any money as a developer. And I think that's an honest way to go about it. And it aligns myself and my compensation with the interest of every individual holder. And I think that more and more developers should consider something like that in the space, because currently the way that it is if a project fails, if a project rugs, if a project falls apart or what have you, the developer always makes out. They always make a whole bunch of money and they leave everybody else high and dry, and then they go start something else. That's not the case at Stacks Token. I am not here to launch other projects. I am not here to think about anything else other than Stacks, and my interests are completely in line with that of every individual holder. So that's kind of a breakdown of our tokenomics. Just a little bit about myself very quickly. Like I said, I'm the average Joe Crypto. I've made my name in crypto and earned the respect that I have in the circles that I go in by being that guy that is out there to teach the average Joes and Janes about how to safely navigate the world of crypto, best investment practices, best crypto practices, using hardware wallets, things like that. I come from a heavy sales and financial background. I currently work in finance. My signature is on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of financial documents. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from and where the team is coming from in developing the project.
That's what's up, man. You sound fantastic. You sound wonderful. I've been in this space long enough. I've hosted long enough, man. And just your level of, I swear, sometimes you know the real deal when you see it, man. And everything you're saying, the way you're talking, the level of transparency, directness, honesty, man, it's just great. Not piping yourself up to be more than what you consider yourself to be. Everything you're saying is amazing, man. I showed up late because I had some connection issues, so I did miss half of what you say. So when I'm asking you these questions, man, it's the host DC. When I'm asking you these questions, man, please just excuse me if I ask you something that you already covered or went over, man. But anyways, dude, it's nice to meet you right here. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and continue, dude. So one question I want to ask you is, you were mentioning about how a lot of times projects will have a dead wallet, and it's actually just a wallet called dead, and they're actually sending money to that wallet, versus you guys, that's actually not the case. It goes through as a transaction if you send tokens to it. So how can people tell the difference between the two moving forward in general?
So how people can tell the difference moving forward is a little tricky, to be honest with you, if you're trying to see what projects are using the dead wallet for a burn and which ones aren't. The easiest way, I guess, would be to keep a watch on those DEX scanners and the DEX tools of the world out there and see if the reporting of the circulating supply is changing, and see if you see that warning for the self-reported circulating supply. If the circulating supply is constantly dwindling downward and you're not seeing the self-reporting, message on places like CoinMarketCap, that could be a good first indicator that they're using a burn mechanism other than the dead wallet. And another way is, if you do your own research on a project and you see that they're doing a burn, then you can, check to see if that wallet's holder list contains the dead wallet. If it does not contain the dead wallet, that's also a good indicator that either A, they're lying about the burn, or B, they're not using the dead wallet for a burn. Now, if they're not using the dead wallet for a burn, then the next thing you can do is you can verify that they are actually burning by monitoring their circulating supply over the coming days via any tracking site. You can also really nail down into it and go to BSC scan or Etherscan and look at the contract. Any project that's worth a salt should really have their contract verified and visible, such as ours, and many projects do. And you can really scroll into the contract and look for the burn function and see what wallet it is using to burn to. If you see it's burning to the OXO repeating, then they're using a burn function similar to ours. If you see that there's a different wallet, then you need to kind of take note. If it's the dead wallet, you can safely know that nobody has access to that. If it's burning to a wallet other than the dead wallet or the OXO wallet, then there's a chance that it's not actually burning, but hiding those tokens somewhere that is actually controllable by somebody, and there may be something nefarious going on.
Got you, man. That's what's up, dude. Next, yes, that's fantastic. Now that's going to help everybody out. All right. So next thing I want to know, man. All right. So one thing you talk about on your website is transparency and how you're going to be empowering investors, man. And I'm sure you already covered this, but can you put it in one direct line, how you're going to be empowering investors and what comes to your mind when you think about empowering investors, because anytime there's promises on a website, we always have to ask developers, owners to go ahead and give us a direct line of what you mean by empower and how is that going to translate to the investor's eyes, because it's great if you say it, but if people can't directly see how they're being empowered and that's what they're expecting, it can be a doozy for them. So can you explain that, please?
Of course. So my answer to that would be that we're empowering investors by being straightforward, that we're here to empower them financially and make them money. If you look at the competitors I mentioned, the SafeMoons and Evermoons of the world, and you go to their website, they make all these claims. You try and figure out what they're all about. And they're like, oh, research and development and empowerment and, diversity and inclusion and, education and all this different stuff. They're all over the board with what their message is. We're very simple. We are a safe place where you can store your money and earn passive income dividends that far outweigh any traditional banking yields. So we are here to empower people financially, to give them rewards that they can then go use for their everyday life or their everyday crypto investing. We are not giving you back our own token, which in my mind I feel is a little bit of a scam. We are giving you real world dollars in the form of BNB. You can go spend that on your bills. You can go spend it on other projects. You can reinvest it in us if you wish, but we are here giving you cold hard cash that you can go then take and better your life with it. One example that I make is that people often send money overseas, for example. Like if you live in America and you've got family down in South America, well, you're constantly working your bartending job and you're sending money to your family back home so that they can survive. We look at it like this. Look, if you're sending money every month or every week or every day down to, a different country trying to help your family survive, you might consider parking some of your money in stacks and setting up a little wallet for your family down in that country, because every day, multiple times per day, they're going to get BNB rewards to that wallet that they can then tap to go pay for their groceries or pay for their housing or pay for their bills. And so a one-time investment in stacks could potentially allow you to take care of your family in one of those less wealthy countries and not have to be draining your own personal funds every day while you're working hard in the country that you're living in. So we see that as the empowerment. We are empowering people financially, and we're allowing them to make their own decisions with that money that we're giving them, not forcing them to take it in our native token.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, I held an educational session a couple of weeks ago talking about all the signs of a good developer. And this man is every point that I made in 10 minutes that I've been here, he has checked off every box that I can see. just based off of the way he talks and what he's saying, he has checked off every box. And I tell you guys all the time, man, don't just listen to the project. Don't just pay attention to my questions. Man, y'all got to listen to the dev, man. Look at the team, get a feel for their integrity, their character, man. Because, you know, even if a project doesn't do the best, when you have a solid dev, man, look, they'll never quit, man. They just keep on going back. For the best of them do. The best of them. Not all of them, but the absolute best will, man. All right. So next thing I want to know about are go over, man, the transparency aspect of it. Because I don't see you doxed. And that's not a problem at all. If I was a dev, I wouldn't dox. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just asking you because when someone thinks transparency, the first thing they think is, okay, you're on video calls, are you doxing, are you saying your name, you know, like, so what is the transparency? What does it look like for you, you know? And I can already tell you're a transparent dev. I'm just asking this because, you know, it's one thing to say something and to be about something, but the people have to create a direct line to it where they can put their finger on this is why he's transparent, that's why he's transparent, you know?
Of course. And I want to say first and foremost, I appreciate the kind words that you just said about me. You know, I take that to heart. I really appreciate that. And to answer your question about the transparency. So transparency and honesty is behind everything that we do at the Stacks Token. It was, you know, one of our founding principles because, as I mentioned, my team and my investors that we brought over, you know, we started this thing as a stealth launch. And when we stealth launched, you know, we had no bots on this launch. I think we've had to date in all the transactions that we've done. We've had 3 botted transactions and the sandwich bots, and they took very, very little from our holders. But we brought in a community, it went live, the contract, and anybody could have bought it at that point. And then we said, okay, guys, the contract is live. And we went back to community members that we knew had been wronged in the space. And we gave them an opportunity and said, look, you know us, you trust us. We have a project now. And if you'd like to take part in it and ride this with us, you can go buy it now. And so, you know, we started with that kind of thinking and just a straightforward, fair, honest, transparent. When we talk about honesty and transparency in our project, we talk about we will answer any question that is out there without reservation. Any community member is free to ask us anything at any time, whether you're a holder or not, in our Telegram, and you will get a straightforward answer with no fluff. Our contract is lean and mean and verified and out there for everybody to see. So anybody can go through the contract, ask us any questions about that. If they see anything that they have a question about, you feel free to fire away. They can also ask anything about the team and, you know, about them. As you mentioned, we are not completely doxed on the team. We have one of our developers that is doxed. His name is Brett. He's probably in here. The guy's a beast. He's my big brain engineer, part of the team. He's a Six Sigma design black belt. He always likes to highlight that part. He's very proud of that. He works for, well, I can't tell you who he works for. Our community knows in the community. But publicly on the AMA space, I'm really not supposed to say. But if you're in the community and you go in there and you ask somebody, I'm sure you could find out. But if you pick a company on this planet and you say, oh man, like if I could hire a developer or a lead engineer from any company on the planet, that's where I'd want to hire the guy from. That's probably the company that you're thinking about. But yeah, it's all about honesty and transparency. People don't get kicked out of our Telegram for asking tough questions. There's nothing to hide in the contract. We're very straightforward. Like I just said, you know, about my compensation as well in the dev wallet. Look, like, you know, I'm spending a lot of time. I'm actually in the financial sector. I pushed off some financial meetings with clients this morning just to be here on this space for my community and represent them well. And so even down to the compensation that the dev receives, we want it to be very transparent. You can see on the chain because the chain doesn't lie. And so there's nothing to hide. There's full honesty. There's full transparency. We actually do have some more doxing coming up. I don't want to get ahead of that, but we've got an event where some things like that are going to happen. But yeah, you know, just as you gave me some praise for how I talk and how I operate, that is how our whole team operates. That's how our whole project operates. We are not scared of anything here. We are not scared of any questions, and we will always treat people with respect and transparency.
That's what's up, man. I like that answer. Great answer. Yeah. All right, let's go to. I wanted to know about the You may, like I said, you may have answered this earlier, but what are the top-notch safety measures and audits that you guys got going on?
So as far as safety measures, what I did when we designed this thing is we made a very lean and mean contract. The contract uses pre-audited functions that were injected and nothing else. So when you go through here, there's no, developer, oh, I think that this looks good. Let me go ahead and, add this in. It's lean, it's mean, it's very efficient. There's been no security flaws found or whatever. Each individual item that is injected into the contract is an audited function that's been tested and battle tested multiple times over. You can go to Solidity Scan, you can go to whatever, contract auditing tool that you would like, and you can run it through there, and it will show you that there's no security flaws. There's no re-entrancy attack flaws or anything like that. There's no hidden functions that can be called. There is nothing like that. In full transparency, as I talked about, because we're transparent here, it will highlight a few warnings. It will say that, hey, there's a tax that can be set. It will say that there is a wallet that holds, a larger amount. The marketing wallet. See, another thing that we wanted to do for this project is obviously we need marketing funds. But what a lot of teams do is they set aside a whole bunch of tokens that they can go sell off for marketing. We have a marketing wallet. It currently holds about 4.6% of the supply. And I think our track record thus far and moving forward will show that those tokens are not there to be sold. We have never sold a single marketing token. The marketing wallet is the only wallet in existence that is beyond our thresholds for anti-whale and anti-bot measures. So talking about that very quickly and safety and security. We wanted to make sure that at our, fair stealth launch that a bot did not come in and buy up a massive portion of the supply. So we have a strict limit of 10 billion tokens per transaction. You cannot buy more than 10 billion tokens in a single transaction. A single wallet can also not hold any more than 15 billion tokens. That's the anti-whale function. So if you wanted to be what we call a max bagger and hold 15 billion tokens, you would actually have to do it in two separate transactions, because if you try to buy more than 10 billion, the transaction will revert. If you try to buy more than 15 billion to a wallet, the transaction will revert. So those are also a couple measures there. Now, back to the marketing wallet. The marketing wallet currently holds 4.6% of the supply. It is the only wallet that is allowed to hold more than that. We have not sold a single marketing token. And that wallet, the theory behind it is we really just want it to collect rewards fairly like everybody else in the project does, all the holders. And as the volume increases and the rewards increase in size and size and repetition for people, that marketing wallet will fill up with BNB that we can then use for marketing and safely sell that off or pay people with it, and that will not hurt the chart. So those are highlights of a few of the security features. You'll also notice that it says that the contract is not renounced. That is the other thing that any kind of contract scanning audit tool will show you. Yes, full transparency, the contract is not currently renounced, and that is by design. There is not anything really nefarious, and it's been designed this way. Most of the functions that are nefarious do not exist in our contract. I cannot pause trading, for example. I cannot pull the liquidity. It is locked for 101 years, and all new liquidity injected is forever burned. I cannot blacklist wallets, for example. So those functions do not exist in our contract. But what I can do is I could adjust the tax. I could set the tax to something. If I'm just hypothesizing for your viewers with full transparency. If I wanted to try and do something nefarious, I could adjust the tax. Obviously, if I adjust the tax to something nefarious, that would get found out almost instantly. Trading would come to a halt, and that would not benefit me in any way. As I said, I've aligned my interest and my compensation with the volume of the project and its sustainability and moving forward. So I'd really be shooting myself in the foot if I tried to do something nefarious with the very limited options that I have access to at this point. But the reason why the contract is not renounced yet, and it will be soon, But the reason why it isn't yet is because there's a threshold variable that I can change for when rewards are paid out. Currently, the threshold to trigger a rewards payment to holders is set at 500 million tokens being collected by the tax, loaded into the contract. On the next cell, as long as an hour has passed after the last payout, it will start dividing those tokens out to holders. Well, right now that's working flawlessly and it's happening multiple times per day. But you can imagine as our market cap increases into the millions and millions, the tokens become more expensive. You have to do much more volume to tax 500 million tokens. And what we want to do is we want to make some final tweaks and adjustments when we get to that level to make sure, if I need to bring it down to 400 million tokens taxed or 300 million tokens taxed, we want to have the flexibility to adjust that variable and fine tune it for the larger dollars that we'll be at when we're in the millions and millions of market cap to make sure that our holders are still getting their rewards on a timely basis. This doesn't mean that the rewards percentage is going to change. You're always going to get the 1.5% of volume. Your rewards are only going to increase in size as we move forward. Right now, a Max Wallet yesterday got $10 in BNB rewards. We're doing, entry level volumes right now. When we get into the millions of dollars of volumes, it's going to be much greater. For example, if you hold 1% of the supply today and we do $1 million in daily volume, which meme coins do easily and they have no utility like we do. If you have 1% of the supply and we do $1 million in daily volume, 1.5% of that $1 million for holders is $15,000. And if you own 1% of the supply, you own 1% of that $15,000. That's $150 a day in rewards right into your pocket if we do $1 million, when we do $1 million in volume. So that is why the contract is not renounced, is that we want to make sure that we have the flexibility to fine tune that threshold to make sure that our holders are receiving their rewards in a timely manner and not having to wait days and days for the threshold tokens to be taxed. So that's kind of my answer to what protections are in place, the anti-bot, the anti-whale, the safe marketing wallet that we've set up and the way that we utilize that to not dump on our holders. No security flaws found in our contract whatsoever, pre-audited functions, and, the renouncement will be happening soon.
Got you, man. That's what's up, dude. Good answer, man. All right, now let's talk about the part that I know a lot of people are dying to hear about. Let's get to the marketing, man. And that's the last thing we're going to cover. And now I'm going to hop off here and let the community come on and ask some questions. But yeah, man, let's get to the marketing, dude. So give us your best pitch about how you're going to push this project to success, man. Because a lot of devs, and I'm going to go ahead and get it straight, okay? I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Anytime a dev is not excited to talk about marketing plans, to me, that is a yellow flag. Not always a red flag, but it's a yellow flag. That's not a good thing, man. Just because, dude, marketing is how people know about it. This is marketing. Everything is marketing. If people don't know about it, it don't mean how they going to buy something they don't know about, And when a dev, they'll try to, gaslight. They'll try to use you. Well, everybody got to be so concerned. Why can't you just trust? Because I don't know you. That's why. That's why I'm asking questions. People would try to wiggle their way out of it, man. When really, in the reality, it's because they really ain't got the money to market or they don't know what they're doing, man. So yeah, dude, just give us a good pitch about how you plan to market this in a way that we'll understand that, okay, we can park our money here. I'm going to get passive income. I'm going to come back in 3 months. I'm going to have a 5, 10, 15, 20, 30X, man. And even if I don't, I know team working, give us some, man.
Yeah, very fair question. Not afraid to talk about the marketing at all. There's multiple levels to the marketing plan. I mean, obviously, the easiest one to say is that we start with the organic community level. Our community is engaged. They're out there pushing on Twitter and on the socials, on the Instagrams and the what have you, and they're doing their community thing. That's an easy one. Every community hopefully does that. I don't want to say that's nothing special. It's very special and near and dear to our heart, but it's very commonplace. So the community is out there putting the word out there. The next thing is our team is actually made up of a few people that have very, very good marketing connections. We have Sam on our team, samdude.eth, who is very well tied into the Yuga Labs and Ringa NFT community and has a whole bunch of connections out there in the crypto Twitter sphere and the crypto community due to that. So he's on as a founding member. He's helping us push marketing in multiple different directions through the connections that he has. We also have our boy Lucky, who you know here. He's very well connected in the sphere. He's a founding member as well. He's got his connections that he's bringing daily, setting up things like this AMA and other things out there. So we've got marketing people on the team. We've got our guy Cryptolyzer. He's got, real world connections to DJs, nightclubs, entertainment down in the St. Martin area. So we've got a diverse team of people that have those connections. And what we do is we take a different approach to this. When we do marketing with a major, influencer, we don't like to be that guy that pays 1 ETH, gets a tweet, and then, it lives or dies, and then we move on and we go to the next one. That's not what we're about. We're about setting up actual relationships and long-term partnerships with our promoters and our influencers. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention Savior Crypto, who is also, onboarded onto our team as a trusted advisor and member and long-term promoter. He's out there setting us up with multiple AMAs. He's talking to his other influencer friends in the sphere. He's getting us, these people are, oftentimes tweeting us and promoting us because of his connections out of friendship with him and love of our project and what we're doing. So every influencer that we approach, we evaluate them, we research them, we see what kind of real organic reach that they have that's non-botted. We see what kind of connections they have, and we say, look, we would like to bring you on for a long-term partnership. Let's not talk about a one-off. And so we've got a couple of guys that we've onboarded already into the long-term partnership role with us, Savior being one of them. Just a few days ago, we also onboarded vondoom.eth, who is, if you may know him on Twitter, he is very well known. He's got a couple 100,000 followers. He's big in the Bored Ape circles and other circles, and he is now a long-term partnership with us as well and lending his guidance and support to our marketing plan in the future. Again, we have the marketing wallet that's going to be earning us rewards, and we can use those for some potential, one-off things here or there, or onboarding, new influencers for the long term. But everything that we do is focused on driving volume for the long term, for the success of our holders and our project. We're not thinking short term. We're not trying to do those just little one calls and that's it. We're trying to bring these people into the sphere so that they can be part of the next greatest thing on the blockchain. Like I said, the Evermoons and the SafeMoons of the world, you see those influencers that were, paid to hype them up. We feel that they had quite, unsustainable contract and an unsustainable plan. We're trying to do it differently than they did, and we're trying to bring these people in early, these influencers, and say, look, if you want to partner with us and you want to be here for the long term and lend your resources and your guidance to the project, we will work with you long term. You're in our private chats with our team, and they're going to help us evolve this thing and our marketing plan into something of greatness that is sustainable for the long run.
Hey,
All
Joe,
right.
can I add
Wonderful,
to that?
dude. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, guys, my name's Crypto Nerd, or Brett, whatever you guys want to call me, but I've been working with the team for, since the beginning here. And I just wanted to say, if people are looking at our chart, look at the 7-day, right? We're up 347.5% over 7 days. Just think to yourself, if the other coins you're holding in your bag haven't performed even half that well, maybe it is time to take a serious look at stacks. With the passive income we're offering, with the rewards, and with the deflationary aspect of the token where it's burning every single transaction, you're actually going to watch your holder percent, so the amount of total supply that you hold, go up, and you don't even have to buy for that to happen because it's a deflationary token. Another thing too, look at our volume. Our volume's nearing a 250,000 in just 7 days. And that's important because we're such a new project. The organic growth has been huge. So the original diamond hands are the ones holding. We did a massive, basically 2-day uptrend where we pumped harder than anybody. It was the most beautiful chart in crypto. And I still think our chart right now is one of the most beautiful charts in crypto because we've done a lot of consolidation. The main, early holders are all still there, all still holding. We were getting 8, 10, BNB buys constantly a few days ago. And I think a lot of those people maybe saw a large quick profit and took profit. That's where we really opened up the project to the larger world. And a lot of those partnerships Joe was mentioning started to kind of get our name out there. And there's a lot of traders in crypto. And like Joe was saying, traders are a good thing with this project because we will have price stability with our auto liquidity function as well. That chart is going to become more stable and more stable as time goes on, and especially as volume increases. And that's really how it drives your rewards as well. So if you look at our chart, we've done a big healthy correction, but that's why I think it's such a desirable time to buy, because that next leg up is on its way. And you're really never going to get the volume of coins you can now because the supply is shrinking, don't forget. But also, we're just starting to go into different regions. We had a big Turkish AMA yesterday. We're really going to go around the world into these different regions to introduce the project like we have sort of in the last week. So there's probably never been a time to get on board here, guys.
Hey, just to compound on that very quickly, Brett makes a good point, and that's Brett. That's the big brained engineer part of our development team that I mentioned. Well said, Brett. And yes, I do just want to touch on our chart and where we're going. So if you notice, we really turned on the gas with our marketing and our public outreach in the last few days. And just the other day, I think it was 2 days ago, we were the #1 gainer on Dex Tools. We were trending on the top of the banner there between #2 and #6. We were seeing ourselves go in a day from 300 market cap up to, I think it was 1.4 or so. And we were BSC trending. I mean, everything going great, and it's still going great. Now, you will notice that there's a little bit of a retrace on the chart, and you can narrow that down to, a couple people that bought early and took their profits. And, I mean, we're all here for the long-term rewards. Yes, you're going to notice your token price appreciate as well, but the real ethos behind our project is that you hold it and you live off of those passive BNB rewards, and you don't have to sell your tokens. But we're not mad when people sell their tokens and take their profits. That's what some people are here for. Some people are here to day trade. And I always let people know, look, we do not care if people day trade the project and spot trade it up and down, buy low, sell high. If you made profits buying our token low and selling high, God bless you. You made profits. That's what we're here for. That's our mission statement, is to make people money. But at the end of the day, our price is going to keep going up and up. We're setting new floors daily. The other day, our floor was 50K. Then it became 100K. Then it became 150. Then it became 300. Then it became 600. Then it became, I think 700 or so. I mean, it's constantly going up, and we're not here to do $1 million market cap. We're here to do billions of dollars of market cap like the SafeMoon did. So we're not worried about corrections. We're not worried about people selling and taking their profits. To be frank with you, if we didn't have people that were spot trading the project, we'd see a lot less volume. We're here for the volume, guys, and our volume has been increasing daily, steadily, and that's what pays people rewards. So we fully anticipate that as we get larger, there will be people that are buying low, selling high, and not here for the long-term rewards. We feel that, that's fine. In our perspective, it's a little short-sighted at this early market cap because there's so many rewards. The rewards alone are going to pay off your initial investment at some point here. And then it's just all free money from there. But if you want to buy low and sell high, like I said, God bless you. You made some profit. You added volume to our chart, and you paid all of our community's holders in doing so. So, we're going to be a project that goes into the, stratosphere as far as market cap is concerned. And we welcome the people that want to day trade and spot trade because that's an engine for volume that pays all of our holders. The majority of holders are going to hold and take those rewards. But there's value in the people that just want to get in and get out and get in and get out and play those gambling games with trying to day trade our price. We're not upset about that. But yes, we are down a little bit from our all-time high. It doesn't take much to get back to our all-time high. We're out there hitting the scene, and we're doing all the things and executing everything that we say we're going to do. And we're setting those new floors daily, and we're driving the volume upwards daily. So it is a good time to enter right now. Things are cheaper than they were in the past day or so. And you're going to see those rewards coming in, like we said, quickly paying off your initial investment.
And that's one thing that we really stress to the early investors. And we have been stressing it, but once your project really grows, and gosh, I don't even know how many members we're at on Telegram, but there's, I believe, well over 800 now. But again, so it's that threshold that Joe was just mentioning. The early investors know this. That you put a small amount of money in, or however many BNB you put in, your BNB rewards in not so long of a time, you're going to cross that threshold where your initial investment, what you've put into the project, has already been paid back in rewards alone. And that allows you to feel comfortable just holding your Stacks coins, not selling those, and then everything as far as rewards go, after you cross that threshold, it's all profit, it's all passive income without losing that initial investment that's getting you those rewards. So that's how I think this project is very, very unique. It's very, very different with the deflationary aspect of the coin where your holder percent goes up. It actually moves that threshold closer with every transaction. So it's not some unattainable goal where it's years down the road. It's going to exponentially increase the time it takes for you to get to that threshold where now you've crossed over into all rewards or profit, your initial investment's paid off, and you haven't had to sell one token of Stacks. So that's really the mechanism and the utilities that have been baked into this contract from the start. And it's an audited contract. It's completely safe. This team never stops working. And as long as we can convey that message to the larger crypto world, it is not going to stop. We're going to build diamond hands. We're still going to have some trading. But after that, even if the project, the price range just sort of moves sideways, everyone's making money and you're still approaching that threshold. So I've never been in a project that wasn't driven by pure chart price needing to go up for everyone to do well. And that's exactly what this is here. So it is a revolutionary new project. And we just really need to introduce it to more people. We also need to educate as many people as we can on the validity of this and how it's a different type of investment. We've said a few times on a lot of these AMAs that if you put your money into a bank, first of all, the bank, they don't even have to keep the money. They keep about 1 to 10% of the total money you deposit. The rest, they loan out and they make money off it. Well, Stacks is almost like your own personal bank because you're putting your money somewhere. There's a much higher liquidity rate than a bank would hold for you, and you're the one getting those dividends, not some bank using your money to get dividends. So I think it's a very important new financial tool to drive passive income. And the more people understand that, the more this is going to catch fire.
Well said. And one last quick note here. If you look at our 2-week chart, I will put that 2-week chart up against any other chart that's launched, in their first 2 weeks in crypto. We are looking great. You can even look at like the Pepe 2-week chart. Pepe's a meme coin. It's in a different class than us, but everybody knows Pepe right now because it went to billions. Our 2-week chart looks healthier than their initial 2-week chart. But like Pepe, supply squeeze is about to be a real thing. I think there's about 6% of our supply left in the PancakeSwap liquidity pool for people to buy. And as our community continues to diamond hand the tokens that they hold, that supply shock is about to be very, very real. Like right now, for example, there's only enough supply left for about 3 investors to immediately try and buy a max bag. And obviously trying to buy a max bag at this point is going to send those token prices through the moon because you can never buy out the liquidity pool. When you get down to those last tokens, they would cost trillions of dollars and all of my holders would be living on space yachts floating around Mars at that point. So, it's a good time to get in. It's a good time to accumulate as much as you can, but there's a very little bit of the supply left in the PancakeSwap liquidity pool. And when the supply starts dwindling down to those low numbers and our holders continue to hold, that supply shock and supply squeeze is going to be very real. And you're going to notice that chart start rocketing up just like Pepe did.
All righty. Hey, man, that was a great interaction, man, for real. You guys are dope, man. Crypto Nerd, thanks for coming up here. But let's get to the community questions. I'm going to start unmuting folks. Like I said, y'all, the best AMAs, you want to know what they are? It is just consistent. Like the best AMAs is the one where the host doesn't have to do all the talking. All right, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get Mr. C, man. And y'all remember what I say about AMA ethics? I'm not playing around, you guys. Come on, ask a thorough, well thought out question. If you want to introduce yourself, go ahead and introduce yourself. You know, if you want to compliment the team, save that for after the question. Don't ask if we can hear you. We're all right here. If we can't hear you, we'll say so. All right, let's get right to it. Sujay, you're up. Let's do it. Here's
Hey,
Mike.
DC, thank you so much. Sorry
What's
about
up,
that.
man?
Hey, doing good. Okay, so let's see. So your reflections project. I first of all loved your presentation. Loved everything you've said so far. So your reflections token. We've seen so many of them in the past. Some of them have done okay. Some of them, failed immediately. Now, I was going back, and you mentioned the charts a couple of times, and that's kind of what I found intriguing about your project as well when I was looking at the charts. So you started on the 4th of July, I believe. And if you look at the charts, it kind of looks like any other, meme token or a non-utility project, but a good one at that, where you don't see anybody meddling with the charts, no team tokens being dropped, nothing is being pumped or dumped, in single candles, right? So it looks like any other chart where, investors are buying and selling, there's volume. But then after about, say, the 18th of July, I see one pump. And then from 22nd of July, I see it just skyrocket, right? And what I wanted to know from you is, was this a planned approach where you were waiting for the marketing wallet to accumulate funds and also for the non-believers to leave for you to do whatever unexpected happened for that trajectory of the chart to change so suddenly?
That's a really good question, Joe. Let me just jump on that really quick, because that's an excellent question. You're obviously an educated investor, and you know charts. Because of the stealth launch aspect that was taken, and the fact that we really wanted to build that solid holder base. It was really friends, sound investors that we knew wanted somewhere to park their money, that would be able to earn passive income and get in early. That's why you're not seeing our early investors selling. In regards to where we had that first big pump, we really wanted to kind of make sure that we had that foundation before we started doing the AMAs regularly, which I think this is our 5th now in 6 days. And that's really where the price started to skyrocket, when we started to tell people about the project. So that's a massive sign of intent from the crypto community, that especially investors like yourself, that can understand the validity. And when you say a non-utility token, we actually bake the utilities into the contract. And it's everything that Joe went over as far as the tokenomics, how the contract is executed, and how it works. So the utility within the contract is the mechanisms of the tokenomics. So the deflationary aspect, where the supply is shrinking. So every holder, every transaction, your percent of the total supply goes up. So that is a big utility, because it's a true burn. And we like to coin that phrase, true burn, because it actually is. You'll see the supply shrinking on all the different tracking platforms out there, and 99% of the coins don't do that. So is it a true burn at all? No, because your percent of the supply stays the same, meaning your reward, your place on the reward ladder doesn't go up. And we don't call this a reflection, because it's not. It's not a reflection in the token itself, which only goes to hurt the chart, which is why I think you see a lot of those projects fail. Where this is a rewards token is because you're getting rewarded in the paired token. What that allows investors to do, which you'll see a lot of really small buys, all that is investors compounding their interest, which is a brilliant move, especially at this lower market cap, because you're going to exponentially increase your percent while transactions are happening, which will also increase your percent of the total supply. And that's just moving you up that rewards ladder, where you're getting more and more BNB, daily than you did. And it's also obviously volume's a big variable of that. But like you said, our volume has been going up at a massive rate, something like 12x over the last week, from what it was just the day before that. So that's a very big bump. So when you look at the chart, that's why we're saying the big pumps, those were because we released it to the larger world. And you're going to get those traders that we were up 1,500% in 7 days. We were up, 350% in the 24-hour chart. And that's where things just sort of snowballed. There was a few early investors, not even, right away, day 5, day 4, that did sell large portions, or actually they're completely out, which I think is another important aspect to say. But that's why you're seeing the membership that we have in our Telegram and our social engagements all over social media has exponentially grown too. So it's really just about finding the right investors like yourself, I think, that understand crypto, that understand the different aspects of what will make or drive growth over the long term. So, Joe, I'll let you jump in, but I just wanted to kind of just clarify that we are a rewards token, not a reflection. The rewards will never hurt the chart, okay? Because they actually help it. Because, like I said, people want to compound those rewards into more stacks to get that higher percent and better rewards.
Very, very well said. Very, very well said, Brett. I couldn't have said it any better than myself. And just a note, as I mentioned, I have put off a couple client meetings to be here today. I'm still going to be here. I will be tagging in and out with Brett, who is obviously capable of answering any and all questions, and I will be here answering questions as well. But if Brett answers a couple questions, that just means that the client's blowing me up and there's an emergency. But I will be here. But yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself. To answer your question, that is an organic rise. That is not us manipulating the chart or pumping it in any way. That was just the fact that we had a couple of great AMAs. People heard what we had to say, and they decided they wanted to be a part of the project. And then obviously things start to snowball. It starts to rise. We were going up, up, and up. As Brett mentioned, a couple early investors, not people that we brought in, but people that just saw the chart because it was fairly launched, it was stealth launched. And a few days later, they noticed us and they got in and they decided that they wanted to take their profits. And, I think one guy walked away with 44 BNB, good for him. That guy made money. He profited 44 BNB. Like I said, we're not scared of that. Whether there's cheats, is the term people use, or whether people buy and sell or spot trade or whatever. All volume is good volume on our chart. We're not specifically just relying on token price increase, although that is a focus. Either way, we're making money for our holders as long as they hold and as long as the volume continues. So that was completely natural.
Yeah, well explained. Thank you for that. And actually, I was trying to figure it out myself before asking this question, where I was trying to align your pinned messages in your chat with with the dates when the pump happened, but I couldn't go back more than a couple of days of pin chats. I don't know if that's how it is, or if I wasn't able to load them up. But thanks for clarifying.
Sure, we're gonna clean those pins up too. So we'll post some relevant information on that as well.
Okay, perfect. Just a quick second question. You mentioned why you have not renounced the contract. It's because the time when the reflections or the rewards are sent out is something that you can modify, and you want to be able to control that because of fluctuations in the volume. Now, when you find the solution to that, I don't know if you have to renounce, but if you have to, and you have to come up with a solution for that, is that going to be changed into like a dynamic code where the code figures out how much volume is there and how much rewards have been accumulated in the rewards wallet, and then take a decision automatically, and that's when you are able to renounce it? Is that the plan?
So, like I mentioned, renouncing definitely on the roadmap. We do not have to renounce. Again, there's nothing really nefarious that I can do to harm the project with the functions that exist in the contract. Like I said, there's no blacklist, there's no pausing trading, there's nothing like that. I mean, technically we don't have to renounce, but we want to renounce because it makes the investors out there, feel better. And so that's not a problem. But what we want to do is we want to do some fancy math and calculations along with our big brain data nerd engineer friend here, Brett, and we want to make sure that when we have set the final threshold, that it's cohesive to the volume that's done when you're at multiple millions in market cap. Now, when we fine tune that and get it to an acceptable level, there will be variations, but as far as when the rewards pay out. But the goal is to keep it paying out rewards multiple times per day, at least once per day, and not, once every week. And that's a calculation that we can do, a threshold that we can set, and then we can safely renounce it. And we'll know that at least bare minimum people are getting rewards payouts every day, if not multiple times per day when we go into the billions of dollars in market cap. But setting that right now could stunt growth. If I set it too low, then it's inefficient. And, even though gas is cheap on the BSC chain, smaller holders could see their rewards getting eaten up. We don't want to do that. So we're keeping it at a comfortable, high optimal level right now. We'll adjust that once we get into the millions and millions of market cap and the $1 million daily volumes. And we'll do some calculations to set it as best as we can. And then we can safely renounce and know that it can live on forever and people are going to get their rewards in a timely manner.
And you made a good point,
Perfect.
About renouncing. The contract is such that even without renouncing, there's no real way that anyone could do anything with the contract. But one reason why we feel it's important is we're looking at all the available market share or the potential market share that we could bring in. And there are a lot of crypto investors that maybe that's a golden rule for them. They only go in on a renounced contract. It's a safety thing. Maybe they've been burnt in the past. And the main focus of Stacks was looking at all the different ways that people have been burnt on projects and how can we put into our process and really process out the ability for anyone to sort of in their own mind think that this isn't a safe place to park our money, because that is the ultimate goal of why this was incepted, from the start, is because we want people to feel safe and we don't want to eliminate some portion of the total market share available to pour investment into this project. So we're really just trying to cover all the bases, but there are some fundamental aspects that we need to get set properly so that it is a place that people are getting rewards at a good frequency, and they're seeing the benefits. We wouldn't want it to be 3 days and then you get this big reward. It's better when you're getting those alerts on your wallet a few times a day, and wow, you can actually see this is my investment and this is how it's going to pay me off over time. And you can actually see your holdings grow, the percent on the BSC scan, because the deflationary aspect, even when you're not adding to your bag or when you're compounding your rewards, you'll actually see that grow as well. So I think it's more about the outreach on a larger level and making sure we're not pigeonholing ourselves to only a set group of investors, trying to really check all those boxes and make sure there aren't any red flags and that there's really no reason why you wouldn't sort of look into us and then invest.
Yeah, no, it definitely adds a layer of trust and security. And like you said, it passes a lot of people's safety checks when they run it against, a project. So that's a good idea, even though there's nothing malicious in the contract itself. But yeah, thank you so much for the answers. love the explanation and go elaborating on the points. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. Those are honestly some of the best questions we've had in any of these AMAs. So it's investors like you we're looking for, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, DC.
Appreciate it, Sujay. No problem, dude. Let's go to Aaron. All right, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, so on your website, as part of your tokenomics, you've got, as part of your tax system, you've got a 0.5 for dev. And obviously, developer had to make the contract. It's a good contract. So kudos to him for that. But it does say, a productive dev an incentivized dev is a productive dev. So what is the developer planning? Like, what are the developer plans going forward? It's stated that, you guys are essentially, it's a place to park money, right? It's not promising, a bunch of necessarily future utility or anything. So what is the development costs, the development tax for going forward?
So that's a good question. And like I said, we're very transparent about that. So number one, the development tax is partially my compensation and then partially for anything that I need to do as far as development of the contract or development of the project. And the development of the project, it means many different things. Number one, obviously, like I said, I come from a deep financial background. As I mentioned, to be here at this AMA, I'm actually pushing off some pretty big meetings with my clients to be here because it's important to me and to my community that I'm here to represent us. So obviously, as I mentioned, any developer wants to be compensated and deserves to be compensated if they're running a proper project. So part of that is for that. And that aligns my interest with that of the community to make sure that if I'm making money, they're making money. If they're not making money, I'm not making money. But also, as we mentioned, once the contract is renounced, I mean, there's really no development of the contract itself, but there's always development of the project. Just kind of a little back insight into, what a developer has to deal with. I mean, a developer has to organize a team, lead a team, keep a team organized, manage multiple different personalities. In crypto, we're not talking about employees, for like a traditional company. You're managing many personalities. And every personality is different, whether it be an influencer, one of your team members, or what have you. So there's a lot of work that goes into constantly maintaining a project, keeping a happy team, keeping happy investors, keeping happy influencers that you've partnered with. And there's costs for doing that as well. Our team right now is actually running full transparency because our marketing wallet, we do not want to sell those tokens. And as volume picks up, the rewards will start paying for the marketing. But right now, this is completely bootstrapped with personal funds from the team, and we are operating at a net loss as a team right now. We have pumped thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of personal money into this to get this thing launched and moving forward. And so, the development of that is costing the team personal money. And so it's there to help with that. It's there to, again, compensate me. It's ultimately there to make up any shortfalls if we need it for the marketing wallet as we're getting moving forward. And, various other things, if we need to have meetings, if we need to travel and what have you. So that's the best straightforward answer I can give you on that is, again, just like the website says, it's for compensation that aligns myself with the best interest of my holders and our whole project holders, and to help offset any cost that the marketing wallet cannot pick up, or our team spending money.
That's a great answer, man. Thank you.
All right, Aaron, good question. If that's it, we'll go ahead and move on. Let's go to okay, Bull Rider, I'll get you. Who's Polar Bear? Who's Lucky ETH? Who are these people?
Lucky ETH is one of our dev team members. So if he's got something to say, definitely grab him.
Okay.
But not sure Polar Bear.
Okay. Polar Bear got to take a seat then. Lucky ETH, you can stay up here, but Polar Bear, you got to take a seat, dude. I only keep people, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't talking, if you ain't core, I can't have to focus on you. I keep the focus on the people who's talking. All right, Bull Rider, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I first have to commend the team for a job well done, because as you can see, it's not simple, to keep let's say to take care of the okay, as I said, it is not simple to take care of a project like this. My question is, as based on the tokenomics, only there is no percentage of the tax allocated to the marketing. And as he has said, the marketing depends, let's say, on the volume. That is the reward they got from the volume is what they would use for the marketing. And we all know that marketing is very costly, and I think reward alone cannot keep, let's say, the market rolling. So did the team has, let's say, another source, or are they planning of, let's say, coming up with another source for the, let's say, to fund the marketing in the future, or are they going to stick to that? Thank you very much.
Yeah, so as mentioned, right now, the marketing wallet, the tokens, our earning reflections. As the volume increases, the rewards, rather, I gotta always be careful to say rewards, not reflections, because there's rewards in BNB, not native token. As the volume picks up, that marketing wallet is going to start generating nice rewards returns that we can then use for marketing for the long term. Currently, it's being bootstrapped with personal funds. And like I said, our team is operating at a collective net loss on that because we're bootstrapping it with our own personal funds. The dev wallet tax, as mentioned, is there to help offset that as well. It's not just for my compensation, but when it's needed, we can use those funds for marketing as well. I'm very blessed to have a team with me that is, honest and transparent and supportive, and they're using their funds as well to help move this thing forward, as am I. So I'm using my personal funds. My team is using their personal funds. We do have the marketing wallet every once in a while. We try to keep the marketing wallet at about 5% of the available circulating supply. So as the circulating supply dwindles and that goes over 5%, then we can also use those tokens in other ways. We've never sold a single token. We have given a little bit to some of our long-term partners so that they can have, an investment in the project as well, have their skin in the game, wet their beak, for whatever term that you might like to use. But we use them in that way as well. So it's not always about spending marketing dollars, although there's a lot being spent personally from the team. Again, the dev wallet ultimately will be able to help out with that as well as things grow. The marketing wallet ultimately will be able to take that over, but the marketing wallet with tokens as well. Every once in a while, like I said, we may utilize a little bit of that to help onboard a long-term partnership and get their interest aligned with the success of the project as well, rather than, just sending them one ETH and then making a call and disappearing on us. And we always make sure that anytime any marketing tokens are used for such a purpose, that they are not sold, that there are strict agreements in place that if that person ever does wish to part with those tokens, that they can OTC them back to the team without price impact affecting, them doing so, and without it hurting our chart.
Well, thank you very much. My concern is that, let's say in a project like this, you have to keep the volume rolling in order to have that such reward that you could use to spend for the marketing, for marketing the token. But I'm thinking that, when the BSC itself has low volume, although you are doing a very good job by keeping the volume in your token, but I know that the volume is going to, let's say, you have to keep on marketing in order to retain the volume. And without proper marketing, the volume is going to go down. And when the volume is down, that means you want to be having the marketing funds needed to continue expanding and marketing, let's say, and spending on the marketing. So if you will, let's say, introduce something that will help, let's say, to offset the marketing wallet, I think that will help a lot. Thank you very much.
So yes,
Yeah.
so just a final answer on that question. So there's two things here. That's number one, why we mentioned that when we do our marketing, we do a long-term investment in each marketer that we approach. So for example, Save Your Crypto and Von Doom, who we recently brought on, they are long-term partners for the project. So that is not something that we need to incur ongoing marketing costs for. So that's kind of why we look to make long-term partnerships so that one-time investment in the marketing can help bring volume consistently moving forward. So that's the theory that we approach our marketing is we make an investment in the long term so that we can constantly see volume returns from that initial marketing investment and bringing them on as a long-term partner. Also, you must remember that because we're a rewards token and we're paying out in passive BNB, that is marketing in itself in the utility baked hard into our contract. If we were just a meme coin, then yes, you need to constantly be throwing marketing dollars at different advertisements and influencers and stuff to pump your token. We are a hard utility token. We offer people passive rewards. People are going to jump in for those rewards. As volume increases, it creates a little bit of an exponential snowball effect. where people start seeing the rewards that they're getting, and that drives people wanting to be a part of it. One of the things that Pepe did very well is their community went out there and organically said, look, I put $100 into Pepe and now I have $10,000, and they're posting screenshots of that. Well, our community can and does the same thing where they're out there posting their screenshots of their daily rewards dropping into their wallet. And that kind of stuff goes viral. That's what really drove Pepe to the moon, is people were sharing their gains. That's how the Wall Street Bets community way back when, drove the hedge funds of the world, to dust when they were there. Wall Street Bets was a community on Reddit that, was all about sharing their gains with their fellow community and pooling their investments into various, different projects on the stock exchange. And so sharing your gains is a nice way of organic viral marketing that's always going to exist for our token, because there's always going to be volume, and there is always going to be rewards. And when people share those rewards in an organic way on social media, it makes other people want to take a part in it. So yes, long-term partnerships that we don't have to keep paying for and draining marketing expenses, as well as the utility of our contract, naturally drives, for lack of a better term, FOMO.
All righty. Thank you so much, Bull Rider. Let's go to the Cryptolyzer.
Hey guys, just very quickly, I do have a call I need to take really quick. I'm going to leave Brett here to go ahead and answer some questions. I'll be right back.
All right. We like Brett. Brett good, so ain't no problem. All right, Cryptolyzer, let's go.
Cryptolyzer, you're up. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, don't keep us waiting, bro.
Pretty sure this is one of our team members also. So.
He left.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Benova. All right, Benova, let's do it.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, DC.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Let me just go straight to my question. My question is that, during the course of the presentation, you said that people can send money to their families for upkeeps. I want to ask, in the specified country which you mentioned, have you partnered with any grocery stores that they would use your token as a means of payments?
That's a really good question, and that is something for future consideration. We've actually talked about that a little bit, and a lot of the early investors have heard us say that too. But so as we've discussed, the volume will really drive rewards on this project. So using even having some sort of a link in to where you can use your rewards for everyday purchases. So it's almost like a savings account where you can just stack up, no pun intended, maybe a little, but you can stack up those rewards, and there's potential to be able to use that, whether it's some sort of a online crypto delivery system for payments on that, or even if it could be some sort of a card in the future, like a debit card type functionality. That's a really good question, and we are looking into different avenues on that. But I think that I think your question comes from you seeing the benefit of possibly doing something like that, and we do as well. So it's a great question, and absolutely that is something that is on the future consideration roadmap. We think that's an innovation in this industry, especially when it's matched with the contract. So it is something we are deeply looking into, but we just want to make sure it's the right time and the right premise for doing it. But even using stacks could possibly be another potential way. But we just wanted to make sure that we have a solid enough base and that we're protecting our holders, especially everyone that's been here so early. So it is a future consideration for sure, my friend. And that is a great way to drive volume as well. So yeah, great question.
Yeah. My next question still be on the same matter. when the platform gets more user and I want to ask, how will you undo, large transaction coming through when you get more users for this type of transaction? I don't know if you get my question.
So sorry, you said how will we undo large transactions?
Yeah, how will you handle large transaction when you get, more users for your platform?
Well, that's the beauty of the blockchain. I don't think that we really have to do anything. So the contract is such that it's hardwired to be able to handle transactions of any size. The only aspect of our contract, and this is more of an anti-whale feature, is that the largest transaction can be 10 billion stacks tokens. Now, as the circulation squeeze continues to happen and our total percent in circulation goes down, those large transactions, I mean, 10 billion tokens could be 500 BNB very soon. So I think that the larger the transaction, it's actually meaning that it's less close, or it's not as close to that threshold of the max transaction, which is 10 billion BNB. But with that being said, there's really nothing that we would have to do from a development team side, because the contract takes care of anything like that, and the blockchain does for us. So I think it's more how do we link our contract into blockchain and then into some sort of a maybe third party transaction processing center, where we would maybe allow for the BNB to be used to purchase everyday things, or even into some of those more readily available like shops where you can actually purchase things with your crypto. Now, we're not saying that stacks would be something you would purchase with, but at least the rewards. But in the future, as we do grow and as that circulation crunch really continues, potentially stacks could be used in that manner as well. The contract would allow for it as we tie in with a third party, because they're the ones that would be doing the development of how our standard contract interacts with their processing center. So it is possible, very possible. In fact, that's essentially how it's done in blockchain and in crypto right now when you're using any coin to do transactions. So you're not actually affecting the mechanisms within the contract. You're just building the interaction platform within those mechanisms already. So again, even after renouncing, I don't think that would affect us in any way, because anyone that we would use would just basically build their ecosystem around the current contract. I hope that helped to answer.
Yeah, it did. Thank you very much for answering my question.
That was an
I believe,
excellent question. Man, you got a very, very knowledgeable community here. I just want to give you a shout out for that, because I'm sure that you're doing your part to educate them as well. So this has been a fantastic AMA. Honestly, some of the best questions we've had out of all of them.
Man, I'm so glad to hear that, man. Listen, man, over here, man, that's what I try to do, man. I try to make sure that, there's an understanding between everybody, man. Everybody's carrying themselves properly. Everybody's having integrity, being honest, direct, everything. I make sure that I give credit where credit's due, props. Just keep everything straight out in the open, man. That's how you do it.
Yep, transparency is key in this industry. There's so many, bad actors out there in crypto, and I think that's why it gets a bad name to the people that maybe don't understand it, or that aren't educated in the way that they're able to see through all the noise, because that's really what it is. With all these shit coins and meme coins that have zero utility, so many different coins, even some that have blown up, did it off a fake tweet that Elon never made. That's my boss. I'm an engineering manager. Essentially he's my boss, and I know him pretty well. And I think it's just ridiculous how that's turned into, well, this coin, they put some fake Photoshop tweet out there, and it goes to millions of market cap. Well, what we're offering is no fluff. It's no bullshit. It's honest and actual investment where you can do better than any bank you're putting your money in. And that's something that's really important. It's something that we wanted to offer the holders. And that's like we said, that's why we're getting such serious diamond hands early on that are looking at this as somewhere to put their money, and not just for the short term, but for the long term. And you're going to see a lot more big investors coming in and just parking their money here, getting those rewards, and you can use those rewards to chase any shit coin you want. But the point of this investment here is that it has true utility baked into the contract to where it's very known too. You'll be able to calculate what the volume is, what your percent of the holding is, and what your rewards are going to be. And you can actually watch that. We have a really informative chart that we've been blasting, especially in our Telegram, but on social media as well, that will specifically tell you where the volume is on a daily, or even it could be an hourly basis once we get up to those higher volumes. But where the volume is and where your actual percent of the total supply is, and what your output for payment and rewards will be. So take a look at that, because I think it's very interesting to really see the potential for growth here and the potential to make the passive income. Think about buying a house, right? When you buy a house, you buy that house, you have to pay it off. That's sort of what we call that threshold for rewards. Let's say rent is the rewards. But the problem with a house is the refrigerator goes out. You got to put a new roof on it. Well, this is an investment that it is self-sufficient, as far as after you buy, these coins are in your wallet. There's no repairs to it. There's no, paying the electric bill, the water bill. This is an investment where it's a one-time purchase, or however many times you want to load up to get that higher percent of the rewards and the total supply. But there's no maintenance on it, right? The rewards are baked into the contract that they will output at set thresholds, and I think that that's the true advantage. I mean, people say real estate is the golden jewel of investing. Well, I think we've really come up with a new way of using that same model, but yet without all the headaches that come with it, without all the unpredictability of it. So predictability is something in investing that is almost never there. But I think if we keep on this current trend where every time we talk to different groups and we try to educate people on what this investment is and the outline of it, and how there's a future state that will see you passing your initial investment threshold, where you can leave your coins and you never have to touch them, and you're constantly making more passive income. So once the rewards have gone above what your investment is, everything after that, you never have to sell your investment, and you'll always be making money off it. So I
See,
don't
and I
think
like
there's
the
any other
fact that it's
investment
not
in the world
like
like
I
this.
like the fact that you guys, like, you're not paying in your own token, like you're paying in, BNB.
100%.
And as a matter of fact, there's a guy named Newbies in the comments, and he's asking, is there any plan that enables users to choose different rewards other than BNB? Maybe some might prefer Ether, Doge, or anything. That's a really good question.
It is a really good question, but I will be honest on that. No.
Okay.
The reason why is because, like Joe had mentioned, this contract is rock solid, and I think once you start giving other aspects of for rewards, where it's not what's paired to your coin on your um, uh, network, so on the BSC network, that sort of takes it away from being able to benefit your own price and your stability, to where, who knows what's going to happen with Doge in the future, right? I personally don't think it's going to do a ton. Now, maybe when there's a next bull run, everything will go up. But again, I think BNB is here to stay. We're trying to bring that integrity back to the BSC network. And I think it's a very undervalued coin as well, BNB. But again, so having that be what's paired to our token, you can put that right back into Stacks, or you can take it and get USD. You can really do anything with BNB, to be honest. But I think that the growth that BNB is going to see in the near future is going to be one of the higher performing sort of paired tokens out there. I think Ethereum is going to do very well too, with their burn mechanisms that they have in place now with the 2.0. But again, this is something that I think is fundamental to how the project operates, and it's fundamental to allowing investors to also compound those rewards, to build themselves higher and higher for basically free up that holder's ladder. So it's a great question, but I don't want to add any confusion. I just want to give everyone honest answers.
All right. And I mean, with that being said, we can go ahead and just end the AMA on that note right there, dude. But dude, appreciate you, man.
Well, we appreciate you. This, like I said, this was one of the best AMAs. Very knowledgeable audience, and we're always there to educate. So it's there's any questions, always come into our chat. You can always ask anything. We never push questions aside, especially even the hard questions. We're not gonna ban someone for asking a valid question. It's just not our style. So yeah, just check us out. There's no FUD in our groups. There hasn't been from launch. And one key aspect too, we launched this on July 4th. And part of that was we wanted to call it Financial Freedom Day, right? July 4th, even all over the world, is known as a day that marks freedom. Well, this is the day for us on the launch that marks financial freedom, especially for any investor that's here now. While we're still under a few thousand holders, this is the time to get in on the bottom floor of this project. Set yourself high up on that ladder for rewards, and that's where those passive incomes are going to be your greatest friend, and you're really going to drive that into your own portfolio just by being a member here and being invested.